What's up, guys? Nick from Comic Culture here. It's time for Nick and Nite, my weekly comic book review show. Couple of housekeeping items, though. Number one, you can go down below in the description. If you want to get caught up on some of these books, I'll have links down there and a discount code you could use to get books over at Cadets Toys and Comics. Housekeeping item number two, I put out a poll, or rather a question on my YouTube page. What kind of comic book content do you want to see from me? I've been doing this for over 5.5 years now, basically doing the same 3 or 4 videos a week. So looking to switch things up next year. What are you guys interested in? What is fluff? What is not? What am I doing that you don't like? And what am I doing that you do like? What do you want me to add to the rotation? Let me know down below in that comment post. Now, with that out of the way, let's get into the books we read this week. So Avengers Armageddon issue number 3. Chip Zdarsky on this one. We have an artist switch for issue number 3. It was consistent for the first 2. We have a new one on this one. The story is still pretty solid, though. We basically have David Coulton, who is the modern day Captain America, playing this century type character in the Marvel landscape right now. He is vastly more powerful than everybody else around him. Captain Marvel struggles against him. Everybody struggles against this guy, and he has a different perspective on war and the art of war. And he has some ideas on how to basically disarm the continents and the different countries so that they can't destroy themselves at the end of the day. So his actions are rooted in good, but there are some consequences to what he is doing. He doesn't quite know everything, and that backfires on him towards the end of this issue. There are some other ancillary characters that team up with him that are directly against him. There is reference to the Registration Act and everything that we saw in the pages of Civil War. So it's self-reflecting on its own narratives and its own themes a little bit. The people that are aligning with him and not aligning with him, that conflict seems kind of I don't know, secondary at the moment. There's really no substance behind all of that. And I feel like heroes, when they get into these situations, they switch sides really quickly, and there's no consequences, no long-term consequences. They have these relationships and these backstories and this history with each other. So watching them flip back and forth and all of a sudden they're enemies, it's nothing new in the Marvel landscape, but it's just something you got to get used to. You know, with all that said, though, I do enjoy what I'm reading inside of the pages of Avengers Armageddon. It is one of those events that maybe will spin off into something cool. There is a new Avengers book that's going to be coming out very shortly with Chip Zdarsky in the writing duties there. We know who most of the team is at this point. I think there's one mystery character they haven't revealed just yet. So I'm digging what I see here. If you liked Civil War, if you liked heroes against heroes, if you like somebody finally taking a stand and stepping up and doing whatever they think is right to solve whatever problems they have, and everybody has to react to that, that's what we got going on here. All right, next up is Batwoman issue number 6. Greg Rucka on this one. Danny is not doing the interior artwork, which is really disappointing because I do like her interior artwork on most things that she does. I love all the cover work and everything. I think she's a little bit weaker in this particular series, but things like Coffin Bound were fantastic. So go back and read that. Gotham City Order of the New World, fantastic interior artwork. Dan Waters was writing that book. So this book feels kind of like those books, but I'm totally lost as to what is going on with the story itself. This is a step back a little bit in the story. We're not really progressing forward too much. We get a little backstory as to like what our sisters were up to, the battle that they had inside the cave, what happened to both of them when they plummeted into the water and one of them was presumed dead. Kate's waking up in some unknown area and she's trying to go through rehabilitation and she's depressed and she thinks she killed her sister. We get all that backstory, but we get the other side of that as well. So if you wanted to know what Elizabeth was up to or Alice in this situation, that's what this whole issue is about. It's about her taking on different personas too and trying to just move forward with her life, trying to adapt into a new identity. We do get some other villain touch bases. We do get an appearance from Bruce Wayne in here. There's not a whole lot of substance going on. But so, you know, this is kind of technically the end of the first volume in a way. We have issue number 6, and this series has not done it for me at all. And we got an artist switch on the issue. That does not bode well with me. Next up is Catwoman 90. We have grown back on this one. This is the conclusion, I guess, of this story arc here. I think we're going to be rolling into Bad Seeds like a lot of the DC books are probably going to head towards, with Poison Ivy taking on Batman, Poison Ivy as the mayor, and Batman just trying to keep it all together with the GCPD and, you know, everybody else taking out all of his safe houses and Barbara being locked up and everything. There's a lot of cleanup going on that side of Gotham, so I think Catwoman's going to be joining the fray here. So, with a wrap-up issue, we have to not only take out the villain, we have to save all of our friends, we have to make Gotham safe again, I guess. And so we have the Black Mask being taken care of inside the issue. Of course, we have Holly stepping in as well. We don't want to make sure that she is okay towards the end of this. So basically, we're trying to get out of the situation we're in throughout the entire issue so we can proceed over into Bad Seeds. I think overall, I really enjoyed the story arc here. I think it was cut a little short because we're trying to push everything forward into the next DC event. It could have used another issue or so to, I don't know, maybe go over some of the resolution from this, or maybe just extend the climax of this event before we switched over. But, it is what it is. I think it's a great package overall. So if you want to check out Catwoman as of late, maybe start in the low 80s, work your way up to issue 90, and then you'll be set for the event coming up soon. All right, next up is Daredevil issue number 5. We have Stephanie Phillips on this one. We got Lee Garbert doing the art, and I've not been a big fan of the series so far, and this issue doesn't do much more to move the needle for me. There was an interesting collaboration a couple of issues ago between Daredevil and Spider-Man. Daredevil coming across a new villain called the Omen, which people in its own book were making fun of the fact that Daredevil came up with that name. There was a cool training montage where Spider-Man tried to teach Daredevil how to hone in on a very specific thing, right? Like block out everything else so you can predict what this guy is going to be, because Daredevil couldn't sense his movements with his powers. So we do that a couple of different times in the last few issues. We do it here in this issue as well, and the whole battle ends rather anticlimactically. It's also up in the air whether or not the ending is truly the ending for this character or not. It might be coming back. There might be some other things going on. I don't know exactly what happened here. This book feels like it's old school Marvel method, right? It feels like somebody sat down, they sketched out some cool images of some characters, some non-kinetic artwork, some just run-of-the-mill stuff, and then somebody had to layer a story on top of that and come up with the dialogue to fill in all the gaps. It doesn't feel flowy. It doesn't feel consequential. I don't know. There's something lacking inside the pages of this book. Can't quite put my finger on it, but I know something's missing. Overall, this arc so far has been a letdown for me, both from a story perspective, a character development point of view, and certainly from an artistic point of view. But I want to know what you guys think. Trying to read more Marvel books, and this is kind of what I get, unfortunately. What do you guys think of the series so far? Next up is Deathstroke The Terminator issue number 6. What a fantastic series this has been, and a very strong issue here as well. So Felice and Gia Domenico have been putting together this amazing, emotional, high-stakes, fast-paced, kinetic book for several months now, probably sneaking its way into some of the best comics of the year. This issue here provides us a lot more emotional stake and the characters that are involved, some rationale as to why this character has been targeted the way that they have, why there's been some deaths recently, or some attempted murders at least, against this character and some of the cast around him. There's a lot going on here. It's also somewhat of a conclusion issue, being issue number 6. We're wrapping things up right now. We do have some kind of closure with the person that has been attacking Deathstroke this entire time, the person that's been after Slade during these issues here. Not only the mercenaries that were up against him, but the people that hired them and the rationales to why they're going against them. And so it is kind of cool to see all that come to a conclusion, but left a little bit open-ended as well, so we can touch base with it later on. Now that Slade, though, has a moment to rest and sit back and take on everything that's going on at the moment, I think we're going to have some pretty crazy stuff happening. He's going to go on a revenge tour here very soon, and I am all for that. If it's anything like we've gotten so far, it's going to be spectacular. Let me know if you guys are reading this one. Next up is G.I. Joe issue number 25 from the Energon universe. I've said it a million times before, but I'll say it again. My favorite Energon book on the shelves right now. It's an exercise issue number 25. Joshua Williamson on this one. Tom Riley doing the art. We needed this extra-sized issue to play out the scenes that ended in issue number 24. We essentially have Zartan infiltrating the Joes, impersonating some very high-ranking folks inside of there. I'll let you read about that. But we had Crystal Ball coming out of the previous issue. We had some things happen between the two of them. Baroness got caught up into the middle of all that. Now, Baroness has been kind of the scapegoat now for Zartan, and basically we have Joe on Joe action in this issue. She has kind of has a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way. If she sticks around too long, inevitably she's going to become some kind of an enemy or seen as an enemy to certain people on the Joe side. So that's what we get inside this issue, and it turns into a great chase issue, which I loved. For all you long-term Joe fans, we also get the Nite Force introduced into here. I didn't know anything about those characters, but they're pretty cool. They're essentially what you think they might be. They're the team that, you know, you send in when you want things done undercover or under the cover of darkness. So, you know, you're not going to hire Duke and his team to go do these things. You're going to hire this team instead to get the job done. We do get some movement on the Cobra Commander side, and we have Destro in here as well. Cobra's maturing his ranks, introducing a few more highly equipped forces in his army right now. We don't have a lot of Joe on Cobra action in here. It's mostly internal fighting with Zartan kind of puppeting the strings a little bit. So that's been pretty cool to see mature over time. But I love this series so far. It's very accessible. There's a lot of characters, so there is a lot of that going on, but it's not too confusing. They're very distinct. They're distinct enough to tell them apart and know the difference, unlike Transformers for me, where I got everybody mixed up over time. I can never keep things straight. And so there's a little bit more distinction here, and it's a little bit more grounded and relatable. All right, Invincible Battle Beast. We have issue number 12. Ryan Otley on this one. Maybe we have Robert Kirkman on the writing. This is the goriest comic I've ever read. The last couple of issues were insane. I thought we couldn't get any worse, but man, going into this one, they cranked it up even more inside the issue, and so be warned about that, first off. Second, we do get some kind of conclusion, but there's probably going to be a to be continued in this battle. This battle that's lasted, what, 3 issues now? 3.5 issues? It's been intense. It's been insane. Great use of composition, 2-page spreads with other kind of paneling scattered inside of there. They must have ran out of red ink while printing this book, which is pretty awesome. So if you're a fan of Invincible in general, if you like the Battle Beast character, if you really like Conquest, which you're going to love both those characters if you watched Invincible, you have to be reading this book. It's awesome. It's exactly what you want. It ends kind of in a way that you would expect. And I'm wondering if we're going to get more from that. I'm wondering if these characters are going to be split off and they're going to go about their business, or are they going to come back and finish what they started? I can't wait to see it in the next issues. Next up is Kaya issue number 36, another great issue. This one's a lot more accessible than the previous one. Sometimes in the Kaya universe, since it comes out every other month as well, you get a little bit lost. You don't exactly know where the story's going. You kind of forget details. You forget what group did what, when, and where we are. And this one is a little bit more straightforward. We do get touch bases with Kaya and Jin and the respective people that they're with, and it's instantly recognizable where they are and where they're trying to go. Of course, on Jin's side, you still have him teaming up with Razel, kind of begrudgingly, and also you have some of our former foes teaming up as well, but we all have a common goal, so they're trying to put differences aside. And there's also some more emotion inside of there too. Like, they have their own character development and rationale as to why they did the things that they did. And Jin's hearing all this and, I don't know, not necessarily agreeing with it, but now he's more knowledgeable about their position. On Kaya's side, she ran into some humans I think she didn't think existed anymore, and she got wrapped up in all their to-dos. And there is some moments in here where she's trying to escape. Some people were backstabbing other people, and she's just trying to survive at this moment. So it's more like a day in the life of both of those characters. There's some revelations done on both sides. Eventually, they're going to be kind of going like this and meeting again at some point, I would assume, to kind of finish this series out. We also had that mysterious future flash forward issue a while ago now. We haven't gotten to that point yet either. So I'm wondering when we're going to hit that, and then when are we going to get back together to solve whatever the problem is in the Kaya universe to begin with. I don't know yet. So a lot of open questions. The book comes out every other month. We're on 36. I think there's going to be 50 issues, so we still got a long ways to go. Next up is Redcoat issue number 19. Brian Hitch on this one. Jeff Johns doing the writing. It's becoming, man, Geiger's my favorite Ghost Machine book. But Redcoat is right there, man. It just depends on the issue, right? It depends on the issue. This was a banger issue. Redcoat has this sneaky way of being emotional, being very like resonating. It is a book with a funny character, and he has like a throw caution to the wind type of an attitude, and he pops in and out of historical events, but he's settled down now. He has things to lose. He has a family. He has a villain that he thought he took care of a long time ago that snuck back into the scene. He doesn't know if he can trust him just yet. He likes everything he hears, but you know, actions speak louder than words at the end of this book. Really, it's the familial element in this story that was the most heartbreaking. So we had some really tragic scenes happen previously. We had some families breaking up in the previous issues. I'll let you read this one to see exactly what happens here. It has a way of making you happy and then immediately making you sad, which is a very cool and interesting aspect about comic books. Things can switch on a dime, and they certainly do inside of this issue. So Again, Simon's going to be going on a rampage here very, very soon, and I'm going to be all for it because this series has been fire since issue number 1. TMNT issue number 21. I'm going to make a short review on this one because honestly, I'm not really enjoying what I'm reading right now, unfortunately. This was a little bit more of the same. So we have a new creative team coming over, I think, on issue number 25. I think Matthew Rosenberg is taking over the writing credits in issue number 25. Correct me if I'm wrong down below. So we have, 22, 3, and 4 to finish out the story where basically Splinter goes into the afterworld, adopts some kind of a spiritual persona, gets a view of his children's fates inevitably, comes back to life and tries to protect them, bringing along Mom along for the ride. So she's kind of living on borrowed time in the real world right now, and it's disrupting the balance between the underworld and the real world. And there's people that are pissed off that that is happening. Of course, the Baxter Stockman side and everybody on the Earth side, villain-wise, is trying to take advantage of the situation, trying to harness some of this power for whatever means necessary. And then, of course, we have people in the underworld trying to invade the living and do the exact opposite. So we have this like power struggle going on, and the Turtles are kind of caught in the middle of it. There's just a lot going on. I would rather have them just have a real down-to-earth, grounded, fighting in sewers, fighting the Foot, right? Like something else. When you start getting to like the spiritual world and you have ghosts and you have whatever going on, you lose a little bit of the narrative for a character like this. It'd be like taking some of the Marvel heroes like Daredevil and throwing him into space and having him be productive up there. It'd be kind of cool, and there's some moments and everything, but like ultimately he's just a dude that punches, so what is he gonna do? Kind of the same thing with the Turtles here. So honestly, I might skip the next few books until the next creative team comes on, but let me know what you guys think down below. Then to wrap things up, we read the last Driver issue, number 1. Sean Murphy on this one. It's a really cool format. It's actually vertical opening, so it's a landscape type of a comic book. It's pretty cool. The Ashcan was like that too. You don't see a lot of that play going on in books. In fact, I think there was another book that came out a few years ago. I cannot remember the name of it though, that did a very similar thing. I thought it was a pretty cool idea, and it's well used inside this issue. The story feels familiar in its themes and tones. You basically have this futuristic landscape. You have this big, huge, monstrous city. You have these gangster type characters. You have a population that's been separated. You have like the city and you have the outskirts. You have all these secret trade routes going on. And everybody tends to take advantage of the situation, make money. Everything is automated. Everything is AI generated, or not AI generated, but AI ran. And so you have like robot police forces and things like that, and people that can control all of that. But inevitably, you have that one guy who's resistant to change. He's sitting there driving a muscle car through a city that's well advanced, and he remembers the good old days. That's what we have here. And then, of course, this guy has a granddaughter who is ill, so he's taking on jobs he shouldn't take on to help essentially pay the bills and have her survive. But I do think this story is unique enough and different enough than what we've seen before to make it something stand out and something really interesting. Obviously, Sean Murphy's a brilliant writer and artist, and so really great job of the orientation of the comic itself and the character designs and the world design. Aesthetically, it looked great. The only eye-rolly moments I had was basically some of the themes or some of the things that we tried to do inside the comic. Not necessarily the characters or the motivations or anything, but like, how is this guy even alive? He has a memory of like the 1980s, 1970s, and it feels like this book has taken place hundreds of years from now. Like, how old is this dude? But the conversation with him and his granddaughter and everybody else is very charming. Like, she's very innocent. She doesn't know what's going on. She doesn't have a history. She hasn't been around long enough to know all these things that he knows. And she starts to learn how to appreciate it, and they start connecting over it. So it's kind of cool to see that play out. Overall, I dug the book. I'm wondering if they're going to keep that same format for all of them. I would assume that they would, but I haven't seen anything official yet. In any case, it was a really cool book. So let me know what you guys thought down below. All right, guys, that's what I read this week. Let's hop over to League of Comic Geeks. Let's see what's coming out next week. All right, we're over here at League of Comic Geeks. Let's go over to new comics. Let's change the date to the next new comic book day, which is the 26th. Let's filter regular and annuals. Let's not do variants, and let's do most pulled and see what's coming up. We have Absolute Wonder Woman issue number 23. Love the series overall. It's been very strong. Even some of the 2-issue mini story arcs that spin out of this every once in a while have been really strong. We had a crossover with Absolute Batman. Really good stuff over here in Absolute Wonder Woman. Absolute Catwoman issue number 3. I did not like issue number 1 or 2. I might read the first arc just to kind of get a good sense of what's going on, but so far it has not been impressive. I know everyone's reading Superman. I gotta jump back in, but I just don't think this is the right spot to do so. But when would we be the right spot? Who knows? Going down, we have Batman Bad Seeds Sunset issue number 1. If you want to keep into the know as to what's going on with Pam and what's going on with Batman and what the new mini event is in DC, this is a must read for you. Of course, you can also read Poison Ivy issue 47, a pretty solid book. There are some cringy moments throughout the last several issues, but hey, man, this book has gone 47 issues with the same writer on it. That's insane. Let's continue down, see what else is coming out. We have Terminal issue number 2. I actually pulled issue number 2 in the blind bag, and it's been sitting on my shelf ever since. I have not actually read it, so that didn't really work out. Continuing on, though, we have Hammer Fist issue number 1. I did get the ash can for this. I didn't even flip through it because I didn't want to spoil it. So I'm going to be reading this one for the first time. A crazy good team on this one. Rick Remender, we have Steve Epting as well. Really, really great creative team. I cannot wait for that book. We have Next Level One Shot issue number 1. The only reason why I'm really excited for this one is I think there's going to be a Doom Patrol, not a tie-in, but maybe it's going to give us some information about Doom Patrol, and there's some other characters as well, like the Demon and stuff. So there might be some upcoming Next Level books hinted at or referenced inside of this issue here, so you might want to check it out. The Black Tower Raven Conspiracies. We have Rom V on this one, Perkins and Spicers. The last time I remember those 3 teaming up was the Swamp Thing run that they did, which was absolutely incredible. They did a deluxe edition recently, so I'm very excited for this book, as well as Conan issue number 34. Jim Zub is doing a crazy good job on Conan in general. Savage Sword has been spectacular for the most part, so we have issue number 34 of Conan coming out. I think that's it for this top row up here, I believe. As we go down, the Duo Powerbomb Black and White issue number 2. I think that cover D is the Japanese poster variants. I'd recommend grabbing all of those. The first one sort of hit. The second one might not. The third one might not. But hey, it's going to make a great collection either way. Let's keep going down, see if anything else jumps out. I might be getting a Hello Darkness Frizzen. I know there's a double connecting cover sort of thing happening very soon with Hello Darkness, so I'm going to be definitely grabbing one of those. This one right here is I'm probably the most excited about. So we have a TMNT Mirage facsimile, $6.99. I want to know if it's going to be like newspaper print. Are they going to keep the same size and format as the originals? I think I read that that's the case, but I'm very excited to see what they actually did for this one. If they made it newspaper print and kept the format and the size, and it was a true issue number 1 scan where there's no loss and there's no gutter issues, this might be something really special. Then we have Concrete issue number 3. Concrete is a series that you really can't jump into this. You really need to go back and read up a little bit on this one. You can certainly take away a lot just by reading this, but you're going to lose some of the nuance of the characters and how they got to this point. But it's a very existential book. It's a slow book, but it is one of those revelatory books. It's not your superhero book. Then as we continue down, we have Dog Tag issue number 4. Love me some Dog Tag. If you like war books, if you like existentialism in war and like, why are we here? Why are we doing this? And just like the impact on war to people, this is going to be a cool series for you to check out. Continuing on, I don't think I have anything up here. I'm going to just do a quick look down below and see if anything else sneaks up on me as we go. I think that might do it for us for that week, the week of August 26, 2026. All right, guys, that's what I read, and that's what I'm looking forward to next week. Let me know down below what you're reading and what your picks of the week were. And of course, while you're down there, like, subscribe, share, hit that bell notification to be alerted whenever I put out new videos. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the comments.